Hey everyone, how are you doing today? If you are new here, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. I'm really happy to have you here with me today. We are in my high tunnel, as you can see here, and we have a couple of fun parcels to open up over here. We have a new greenstock planter. This is what a greenstock looks like. This one is the leaf, so it's a smaller version. This is the original, and it is larger. This one's going to be going up into my main garden, and I did stop by the nursery the other day and picked up some new plants so that we can get it filled up. We also have a lawnmower, and this is just, I can't remember what it's called. It is a reel mower. So no batteries, no power, and I thought this might be a really great option for mowing the pathways in my main garden. I have grass and clover. I'm trying to seed clover so that it's mostly clover in all of the pathways in my garden. And I currently use a weed whacker and my gas-powered lawnmower to mow the pathways, but I thought the hand-powered mower might work really well in the aisles here. So we're going to put it together and give it a try and see if it's going to work. I have actually not used one of those hand-powered mowers since I was a kid, so we'll see. But first, let's get into the fun stuff and do a little bit of planting. Quick update on the pond situation. It filled all the way up to the top and then actually started flooding out the side. So if you missed it, we have a spring that we found up on our mountain where we're logging. And we're creating a big pond there. And the other day we actually dug out a little bit of it to see if we could actually find the spring. And we did, which was super exciting. And the hole that we dug filled up within just a couple of hours. And now we're at the point where it's actually filled up enough that there's a little stream coming out the side of it. And that's what we were hoping for, is to be able to have a stream run through that area of our property. But I'll keep you updated with the whole pond build as we get to it. Oh, it smells so good in here. This sweet alyssum was a really good choice to put right by the door so that when I walk in, I just get a waft of that amazing smell. Oh, hang on. I got to show you this before we get into building that. Look at this. I'm so excited. So this is a northern melon, and we have a little baby melon right down here. Can you see that? And I actually hand pollinated this guy yesterday. So you can see how this one has a fruit at the base of it, and this one does not. This one is a male flower. What would happen if this was outside and this was being pollinated by the bees is a bee would fly in here, would get some pollen off of the male flower, fly over to this flower, and that pollen would get onto the female flower here and it would pollinate it and then form the fruit. But since we are in a contained space here in the high tunnel, so I do like to hand pollinate all of my squash that I grow in here, or melons like this one. So even though I do have roll-up sides that I roll up when it's hot outside, I usually have the front door open in the daytime. So what I normally do actually is just take the flower right off, pull the petals back, and then rub this part onto this part of the plant. But one of the other things that you can do is use a Q-tip and just put it in there and rub it on the inside. That works as well. We have more flowers coming on over here. Don't be alarmed if your melons and your squash form only male flowers at the beginning. That's really common to get a big burst of flowers at the beginning of when the plant is small like this and have them all be male. Don't worry about it. You will get some female flowers eventually. When it comes to zucchini, so zucchini is the same. I'm needing to be pollinated that way. Sometimes the zucchinis will start to grow and develop, and then when they get about this long, they shrivel up, turn yellow, and fall off the vine. And that is an indication that it was not pollinated. So if that happens on one of your plants, that's usually what's going on. So let's open up this green stalk here. So that's our water well for the top, and our spinning base, our water wells. Okay, so you can see with this one that the cells that we're going to be planting in are quite deep compared to these ones. So this one is fantastic for smaller plants like lobelia, basil, geraniums, whereas this one is better suited for plants with deeper roots. All right, let's get into planting. Let me show you what I have for this one. So I went with some larger plants. We have a zucchini here. That one's gonna grow huge, so I'm really curious to see how it does in there. What is this one? Some lemon cucumbers, a yellow watermelon, some Italian parsley. We have some verbena, a couple of different verbenas, snow crown cauliflower. So this is just an experiment. I have never grown in this kind of growing system before, so we'll see. It'll be a little test. We'll see what works and what doesn't. We have some lavender. I think this is pronounced Ipomoea, and it's a vining plant. And so we have one, this one's called Blackie, and then I have this one as well, which is a lime marguerite, and that's beautiful. A double stuff petunia. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know how many of these I'm going to fit in here, but we'll put them in other places. I just loved the color of this. Look at the fuchsia on that. Isn't that gorgeous? A couple of peppers. This one has some variegation on the leaves, and this one is a Vera Cruz, and a ghost pepper, which is a very, very hot pepper. One of my boys loves hot stuff. Lemongrass. Definitely not going to fit all of this in there, but I have a rosemary, a sweet basil, and then a couple of petunias to fill in empty space in there. So I'm going to have to move you off my soil here. So I think what I'm going to do is put vining stuff on the bottom and anything that's going to grow really large so it doesn't shade out the things that are above it. So I'll do the lemon cucumber and the zucchini on the bottom, and then kind of work our way up in height and size. And my plan, where did I put my knife, is to pot up one of these at a time, and then I'll just carry this up to the main garden. It is raining a little bit outside right now, although it does seem, oh no, it's just started raining again. So I just don't want to get these set up outside and get all wet, but we'll carry one of these up at a time so it's manageable. So all you have to do to enter is be on my newsletter list. So if you're already on my newsletter list, you're automatically entered into the draw. And if you're not, I'll put a link in the pinned comment down below and in the show notes, and you can sign up. And just so you know, I do make an effort to make my newsletters super helpful. I usually will have a recipe or some advice, and sometimes they're just newsy, filling you in on things that have been going on around here that I haven't had an opportunity to put into video. So I won't be spamming you. I usually send out my newsletters every Friday morning, once a week. Oh no, I just broke off one of the beautiful petunia flowers. Darn it. Okay, I have just made a cluttered mess here. Let's get some things moved around. Move my soil a little bit closer. If you're noticing that I'm moving a little bit awkwardly today, it's because I was cleaning my chimney day before yesterday, and I just twisted my back in a weird way. I was putting the chimney part back on that attaches to the furnace, and I pushed and kind of twisted awkwardly, and I ended up doing something not great in my back. It's doable, like I'm able to do everything that I need to do. It's just a little uncomfortable, and I can tell that I'm moving a little bit more tenderly than I normally would. So I am just using SunGrow potting soil. I know there's specific kinds of soils that are recommended for these, but this is my go-to that I use for everything. I start all my seeds in this. I use it in all of my pots. And then I fertilize with Alaska fish fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, which I just started using this year, excuse me, on my seedlings. And then I also use Gaia Green all-purpose fertilizers. And then in pots like this, usually I will fertilize every couple of weeks to just make sure that the plants are getting all of the nutrients that they need. So I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough soil, because a soil bale this size was just about perfect for filling the leaf. I had a little bit of soil left over that I was able to fill a few other pots with afterwards. So hopefully we have enough. Sure, I can scrape up enough around here. One of the things that we did find when we were digging for the spring is an absolute treasure trove of gorgeous black soil. So I could always go up there and grab some too. I do have a discount code for these planters, and it's just LMR 10, and there's a link down in the show notes for you if you are interested in trying them out. I know I'm late to the game for these planters. I know they've been around for a long time, but I don't know, I never got around to getting one. So let's start with this beauty here. It's a yellow zucchini. Actually didn't plant any yellow zucchini out in my main garden this year. Most of the zucchinis that I planted out in my main garden this year are green varieties. So I needed a yellow. I'm just checking this plant because it kind of had what looked like potentially powdery mildew spots on it, but at closer glance it's actually the leaf itself with a little bit of spotting on it, not fungal. So it's something that's really important when you are buying plants from nurseries. Most nurseries are pretty on top of this, but do make sure you check that you don't have diseases that you're going to be introducing into your garden when you bring home plants from other places. So with these cucumbers, I'm just actually going to let these sprawl down onto the ground rather than climb up. And I don't expect that we're going to get much out of these watermelons. I am growing a couple of watermelons in the high tunnel just because we don't usually have enough heat, and this year it's so darn cold out, but we'll throw them in there anyway and see what happens. I'm just trying to plan out kind of how I'm going to organize this. I think that we'll just throw a verbena in here for some color at the bottom. So we'll see what happens with that. So this one's going to go up. So I have these guys here, which are trailing vines. And now I'm not sure where I should be putting them on here. I have an idea now for how I could do something really beautiful with just flowers in these, where I would kind of alternate where they were going to be. So these draped down and that there was nothing underneath them that would get shaded out from them. But now, because I have already the squash and all the larger plants on the bottom and the larger trailing plants on the very bottom, I'm not really sure where I'm going to put these ones. Maybe I'll just set those ones aside and get the rest of the plants put in, and I'll use those elsewhere in the garden. So I think we're going to do the cauliflower in every second cell because these are going to get huge, and that will end up filling out the space that's in here. So every second cell on that one. So it is still fairly cool. We haven't had a really big shift in the weather. We've had 2 days of nice hot weather, but it's been rainy and fairly cool, which some of the things in the garden are absolutely loving and some other things not so much. It's kind of the way it goes in gardening though, right? Some years you end up with a really good squash harvest. Some years you end up with excellent root crops. This I do think is going to be a root crop year, which is fine by me because we rely a lot on the root crops that I grow for the winter. And we do have a root cellar that we store them in. So I am not complaining about that. Funny thing though, I mulched all my potatoes this year because we've had hot summers for so long and potatoes don't like to have dry soil. And so I mulched them in anticipation of a hot summer, since that's what was reported that we were going to experience, was a really hot, abnormally hot summer. And I've had to actually peel back some of the mulch because it was rotting out some of the potatoes because of all of the moisture. One thing that I had really wanted to do this year was to put row covers over all of my heat-loving plants, like the pickling cucumbers and the squashes, and I have been using frost blankets on the really cool nights on them, but more just creating kind of like mini high tunnel over top of them. And I had meant to do that. I talked about it last year, I remember, and I just never got around to doing it this year. Maybe next year, because that would sure make a difference. Okay, so we're on the third tier Let's put the peppers there. So this one's the Veracruz pepper. This one's going to grow more up. And the ghost pepper, I'm gonna stick the tags in there so I remember what those are. We'll stick the ghost pepper in here. Actually, we'll put it in the second one. We'll put some flowers in here as well. So normally I don't grow peppers outside just because it's pretty cold here for doing that. But like I said, I'm just experimenting and kind of having fun with this. So we'll see what happens. Let's put a verbena in between. What do we want to put over here? I want to put all the herbs in on one tier. Let's put this cutie over here. Put a nice pink petunia over there. And how about our beautiful geranium? Actually, I think I want to put that up at the top. Oh, I have a very sad looking pansy over here. That's very thirsty. Let's put that pansy in here. And very root bound. Oh my goodness. I'll be happier in there. I think I am going to have enough soil for this, so that's good. So this one we're going to put all of our herbs in. I may decide to change the order that these tiers are going to go in once I get it up to the garden. Lemongrass, sweet basil. I wanted to show you this lovely gift that one of you sent me. She said she's a very private person, so I'm not going to say her name, but I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate this. These are some bunting flags. Isn't that, oh, it's twisted, hang on. Look at those. Aren't those beautiful? These are actually made out of vintage fabric that she collects from estate sales. And she made me another one. This one with the purple is going to go up into the little greenhouse because I have purple up in that one. The piping itself is also vintage, and she sent me the tags off of it. Is that cool? Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Thank you very much. This one I just think is so beautiful, and I think I might want to hang it in my bedroom. I hope you don't mind if I do that, because I just think it's so pretty and it goes with the colors of my bedroom perfectly. So I haven't decided for sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I just love them so much. So thank you. That was very kind and very thoughtful of you. So now we're going to get back into planting these plants that are starting to look very thirsty. Okay, so we have the lemongrass, the basil, the Italian parsley. Let's do this rosemary over on this side. Hopefully this rosemary will do better than the one that I have currently growing out in my herb garden, out in the garden, in the main garden. It is not very happy. And we'll put a lavender over here. One of my favorites, at least for the way that it looks. I like sweet basil best for cooking with, but I love the way this one looks. Beautiful. All right, one more to go. So we'll put our beautiful fuchsia geranium here. I just love the color of that. It's so pretty. I really want to put these in there, but these are going to drape down and potentially shade out the plants below. But you know what? For the sake of experiment and just for fun, and just because I really want to plant these in here, I'm going to plant them in here, and then I will just train them to go around the other plants. Oh, look, pink roots. And that means that I need to put this one in here too. So let's put that one on the other side of here. Let's do this yellow petunia. I'm really loving yellow petunias this year. Not sure why, but they are so pretty. We'll do this little verbena at how pretty that one is. Over here, and then we'll do, what do we do on this one? We have our choice between some more pansies, a pink one, a purple one, or a white one, or not pansies, petunias, or we have some more verbena. I think I'm gonna go with, let's do next to this bright pink and this purple, I think white will probably look really nice. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up to the main garden, and I think we'll get all of these watered really well, and I'll see if I need to top them off with a little bit of soil. And then we'll open up the mower, because I do need to mow the area that I wanna put this, and hopefully it works. It wasn't an expensive investment, so if it doesn't work, then that's okay. Well, certainly easy to put together. It works. Okay, that's cool. Let's bring it up to the garden and try. Well, it completely works. That's awesome. How fun. Okay. Whew. It's definitely a bit of a workout with longer grass, but it is going to be absolutely perfect for just doing small areas in the garden when I don't want to pull out the weed whacker or the gas-powered lawnmower. Whew. Working up a sweat. When you're putting one of these together, they have little holes, so just make sure that you line up the holes over top of each cell. I decided not to water these too heavily so that they wouldn't be too heavy for me. That looks pretty level, I think. There we go. It's gonna look beautiful when it's all filled out. Okay, let me show you kind of the vision that I had and why I placed it there. So I have this one here that'll all be filled and overflowing with wave petunias, and then in behind that, because this is where you walk into the garden, we have the green expanse of the field, which is beautiful, but then there's going to be this color right there where the greenstock is, and I think the kind of dimension that this offers the garden is perfect. I love it. I can definitely say that pushing that little lawnmower around, I'm not going to be able to do until my back has healed up. I know that it looked like these were heavy when I was lifting them, but they weren't. They were really light because I didn't water them heavily before I put them on there. But pushing that mower around, definitely not going to be something I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. It's not a ton of exertion that you have to do, but it's just the kind of the wrong kind of angle for where my back's at right now. Oh my goodness. Look at these. I think we should probably harvest some of this kale and make a salad out of it. So this is abundance kale. These holes that you can see here were actually caused by a hailstorm that we had 2 weeks ago, just about 2 weeks ago now. Fortunately though, none of these guys got damaged. Even if they had, these are pretty hardy plants, but because of the netting on them, they did just fine. I love it. I love it so much. It's great. What else do we have to do in the garden today? I was going to turn the sprinklers on, but it looks like potentially we're going to get some rain, so we'll hold off on that and water this evening if we don't end up getting rain. Okay, well, we do have to get these planted, so maybe we'll do that. And I do have some tying up to do in here, and I need to get in here and get some pruning done too by the looks of things. This time of year, the tomatoes just grow so fast. Oh, some little baby tomatoes. That's exciting. I was considering turning the water on in here, but I think everything's looking pretty good. But we will open up the back door because it is definitely getting warm in here. This time of year, it's hard to decide what to wear because in the morning, it is definitely cool enough to wear something like this, but then by afternoon, it's way too hot. Cucamelons are just growing like crazy, as are this little patch of weeds here. The weeds that grow here most commonly that cause me the biggest issue are the mallow, that's these guys, the pigweed or wild amaranth, the lamb's quarters. These are actually edible, the lamb's quarters, but they are everywhere. The mallow's the worst this year. I think I'll come out tonight and do that when it's nice and cool. It's nice because it stays light out until around 10 p.m. this time of year. So there's lots of opportunity in the cool of the evening to come out. A couple of days ago, I showed you guys how I stomped down my comfrey rather than cutting it like a lot of people do, and here's why. So remember, we stomped it all down to create kind of a circle around the base of the tree as a mulch, but I don't like cutting it because the bumblebees absolutely adore comfrey flowers. It is their favorite thing, especially the bumblebees. So by stomping it down like this, it lays flat all the way around the tree, but it curls up around the edge. This usually starts happening by the second day, all the way around, and the bees can still get the pollen off of those flowers, rather than when you cut it, there's one right there, where when you cut it, it actually kills it, right? So I do that all the way around all my fruit trees, and it works really well. And then they die back in the fall and decompose and fertilize the soil. Oh, we have some pink yarrow starting to bloom in the forest garden. These are just going to make the most gorgeous display of these peonies once they finally do bloom. And I make a syrup and a jelly out of these petals, and I'll show you that when we get there. I had to go up to the house and get changed because it was just too warm. But what I've decided to do is to go up to where we dug out all that soil for where we're putting in the pond. There's beautiful black soil up there. I'll show you when we get there if you missed it in my last video. But I'm going to fill up these two containers here and plant some stuff in it and see how it does. It started raining again, so now I'm back in a sweater and I even have a jacket now to go up the mountain to get the soil from where we've been digging around the pond. Oh, I can show it to those of you who missed it last time. The potato patch is starting to look great. I think it's going to be a really good potato year this year, and I certainly hope so because I planted so many cool new varieties. Can't wait to see how they turn out. Holy cow! Look at this! Wow! He's got all around where we're going to put the pond cleared already. That's amazing. Here is the soil. Look at how beautiful it is that we're going to collect, that we dug out from where we were just checking to see if we could find the head of this spring. It's clear. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. That is incredible. Look at how clear the water is there. Wow. So it was right over there where I showed you in the last video where we found the water that was flowing out, and it filled this up in no time. It looks like a pond. This is where it's starting to leak out over here, and over here too, it's flowing over the side. So that's amazing.
Water looks good.
I know, it looks so good.
So I'm thinking either buy that, those three little dead birch.
Where?
You know what I'm thinking?
Oh, so it's bringing the pond all the way over there?
Just making like a dam and digging it down and then doing like a moon shape all the way over to where I got stuck.
That would be huge.
If you did,
Be a really big pond.
I think it'd be pretty.
We'll be able to skate on it in the wintertime. Okay, I'm gonna grab those buckets. It's gonna be heavy though, so I will get you to carry this down for me if you could. Quite a lot of clay in this. Curious to see how the drainage is with it. I might need to mix a little something in here, but we'll see. I'm just gonna plant in it straight up and see what happens. Okay, I am going to top this off with a little bit of potting soil because we lost a little bit of the soil on the way down here. And then I don't really have a lot of plants left to put in here, but we'll put a few things in and see what happens. So all we have to work with here is some verbena, we have a few petunias, and we have cauliflower. So let's make this one flowers here, and maybe we'll put one of the cauliflower in here and see what happens. All right, friends, that is going to be it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. And remember, if you want to enter the draw for the ForJars pressure canner, all you have to do is click the link below and sign up for my newsletter. I am going to be announcing the winner tonight at midnight, so keep your eye out on your inbox for that. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.